Why is there a sword in your gun?
Station? What's this say?
Yeah.
Hello and good evening, 49 coming at you with the first match of the OUSA Dota League Season 1. We have Team Slithereen squad against Team Blink. So far we're just waiting in the lobby, waiting for the game to start. Waiting, I think, on one of the last few players to load on in. Just in there, I'll be joined by Henry of the OUSA Recreation Officer. I'll see if I can actually get him on Skype, see if he wants to join in on this.
I'm firing the laser!
That's now Jamie.
My flatmates are hanging around in the background, they're about to shoot off for St. Paddy's Day. Looks like I'm just casting Dota 2. Hashtag priorities. Standing in the background is doing his thing.
That's why I'm staying here.
What's up?
Sounds like you're giving us some marching orders.
Alright, looks like Henry will be joining me for tonight, so I'm just going to quickly jump on Skype. So far I believe we've got 13 to 14 teams signed up for the OUSA Dota League Season 1. It will be best of 2 for all the games. And so similar format to last year, just 2 matches happening, and at the end you get a post where you get to win, a loss, or a draw.
Gonna play golf on this shit.
And so over on the Dire side, looks like Team Blink's all set up. I think we're just waiting over on the Radiant side for Team Slithereen to get everything set up. Haven't really seen much from the Radiant side. I believe I recognise Spaghetti Yellownair. I think I've played against him a few times over in the Australian servers. Whereas over in Team Blink side, I've seen them play a few times already. I've casted a few of their matches, scrimmed against them posted myself last year. Really talented all around the team. You've got Snow as their captain, their mid player. Yoshi as well as who Axel as their secondary. Captain over on Sports side. Ignore the blend in the background, just protein takes on down.
You might remember to worry about it, don't worry.
No, it should be all good. I'll see what
professional casting you've got here.
Hey, yo, I wish I had a professional studio, but this is fucking Dunedin, so you work with what you have, right?
The next best place.
Pretty much. Okay, it looks like everyone's signing on. All systems are good to go. Just as a future reminder, if you are playing over in the OUSA Dota League Season 1 and would like your matches to be cast, my contact information has been sent out to all the team captains, so do drop me a text. Give me at least an hour or two's warning in advance. I'll plan my schedule, make sure I can cast both games, and it looks like the game's about to start. So Henry's giving the go-ahead. Got a few people sitting there watching. You can recognise Dumble D from Team 4 Horsemen of the Ruckus, as well as Lincoln's from, I think, Team Lincoln's. He could have changed his name. Just waiting up on a few AFKs. Pretty exciting so far. We've got less teams than we did last time, but we've got a lot more time for the matches. We've got a bit more, better organisation. We've got a better feel for how much time we need for each of the games. Longer period to play each of the matches. So unlike last year, they went for that mad dash at the very end. So it should be real good. Team Blink's been showing a lot of promise so far, especially in their scrims. I think they're the team that won last year. Someone correct me if I am wrong. And so we'll be seeing if they do take it home again 2 times in a row. Over on the Radiant side, haven't really seen much of them, so I'm looking forward to seeing how they play out in this game.
I'd just rather use my time to watch programs.
Yeah, fair enough.
Still just waiting around. Looks like Steve's AFK, no idea who he is, but hopefully the game should be on its way soon.
Well, it's too easy for us, is it?
Guys, amazing. I saw
Just going to see if Henry's on my Skype, see if he'd like to join me over on this end.
So Arteezy's EMR is like
Never mind.
6,300. Yeah. So balance the team.
Just going to go offline on Steam so we get spam by messages.
And then the enemy's team with a 5-5, 4-5, and then a couple of calls. And he's still just completely breaks. He'll carry the team with 18-1 something is the English word.
As you can see from the 3 broadcast channels, broadcast channel 1 we've got Team Porsche, broadcast channel 2, bestest casters in channel 2, and noobs in channel 3, and over in channel 3 we've got the 2 tryhards, so me and Henry. No idea what Henry is so far, he hasn't jumped on Skype, so it could just be a solo cast, but regardless I'm sure he'll be keeping himself busy. He's the one organising this entire thing, so hats off to him. And hopefully Season 1 will be off to a good start. Still waiting around for the AFK. Hopefully things should be started soon.
From Auckland. She's in Auckland. She's ordering this one. That buys you pizzas. Trying to fatten you up. One of those feeders.
Also, if you're
Bit of background dance happening over. Alright, so Steve's finally here.
No, it's kind of green and daylight.
Alright, it looks like we're finally about to start. So, once again, my name is 49, Community Shoutcaster for the OUSA Dota League Season 1. We'll be a solo cast, and I'll be casting the Best of 2 series with Team Slithereen over against Team Blink on the die side. Just about to load into the draft right now. Really excited, looking forward to seeing what both teams can pull out.
Costume-wise. You can go and fully no green as long as you're plastered enough.
Alrighty, just about to load on in, and might actually switch over to another room. Background noise gets a bit too harsh.
Okay.
Just waiting for the last 2 spectators to load on in.
Supermarket. Where's Ellie's keys?
I don't know.
And this looks like an exciting match.
Okay.
Can't bring them away.
Oh, what actually?
No, they're
So it looks like M0PLO will be captain for the Radiant side, he'll be doing their drafts. Whereas Snow will be drafting over onto the die side, so it looks like Radiant first ban.
No, because I already told it.
We'll see what sort of bans they go for, especially for the first and secondary bans. These tend to be the most important bans at the start of the draft, so that helps shape the lineup for both sides. Radiant side can choose to shape the course of the die side's draft by banning out certain key heroes, especially if they... So we've got the Nature's Prophet ban. Blink really do likes to run the offlane Nature's Prophet. Provides a lot of split push power, slot ban over in Blink side, they're not a big fan of him. Excellent mid laner, can off lane, can also work effectively as a safe lane partner, especially with that change over to Shadow Dance, gives him 5.5 seconds of vulnerability. Secondary ban over on the Timbersaw. So Radiant side banning out the off laners, you've got Timbersaw, very strong 1v1, not so great on the 1v3, but can win against most melees. We've got Invoker's secondary ban over for Blink Dota, they're not a big fan of that team fight as well, so it looks like they're banning out mid heroes, whereas the die side's banning out the off lane. First pick over for the Radiant side, we'll see who they choose to pick up. They go for that Crystal Maiden first pick, very strong all-rounder support hero, especially with that Arcane Aura. Frostbite as well as the Crystal Nova combination gives her excellent ganking potential, makes her very strong in the offensive trilane, can grow into gank mid. But with Frostbite she also can jungle very effectively, use that to pick up a lot of EXP and go in the background. Looks like we've got 2 picks over on the Dire side for Blink Dota, just waiting on them to see what their first and secondary picks will be. Will be interesting to see what sort of heroes they pick up. With 2 offlaners already out of the pool as well as 2 mid heroes, they might look to secure their offlane hero right now before any more of them get locked down. They've got a pretty versatile player base, so I'm not too sure who they're looking to go for. They might be choosing to dip into that reserve time. Clockwork as their offlaner, excellent hero for the offlane, provides a high amount of killing power, very tough to bring down, can go 1v3, 1v1, can also function in mid lane, gives them a high amount of maneuverability, and you can use that 2000 range push at level 1. Once he hits level 6 to start initiating games with the Rune. Ancient Apparition, excellent trilane support hero, especially with that chilling touch buff. I'm just going to quickly relocate over to another room. Cut out a bit of that background noise, don't mind me. Secondary pick over for the Radiant side. So far they've got the Crystal Maiden. We'll be seeing what they choose to go for. They can go for something such as the Visage. Very strong synergy with the Crystal Maiden. The high amount of burst damage the Crystal Maiden lacks with that Soul Assumption. Extra mana provided by their Arcane Aura means you can throw them out. Looks like they've gone for the Weaver. Weaver's fantastic offlane as well as a tri-lane hero. He provides a high amount of maneuverability, and one of the biggest benefits of the Weaver is you don't have to initially pick up boots. He has high enough mobility from the Sakuchi, and you don't have to initially pick up a damage item, as even something like a Linked Sphere provides him everything he needs. Gives him those stats so he can move around, do a bit more damage in those fights, gives him that right-click power that he also doubles with that Geminate attack. They've picked up the Shadow Demon as their 3rd ban. Excellent tri-lane hero, especially in combination with the Ancient Apparition. Cold Feet into Disruption ensures the Cold Feet proc goes off. The Shadow Poison as well as the Soul Catcher procs very well, especially with the high amount of damage coming up from the Ancient Apparition. And the Demonic Purge ensures an easy Ice Blast from the Ancient Apparition. The biggest strength of the Shadow Demon as well is his defensive capability. That Disruption is a 2.5 second removal spell, so it can be used on your own teammates. Very handy, especially if your hero, especially if your carry or mid hero tends to get caught out of position. If they get jumped on, you can disrupt them, give your team a bit more time to react. Get that mech off, get that Force Staff off, even get that Blink off if you happen to time it right. Very high synergy. 3rd ban over into the Nyx Assassin. I know Blink Dota, they really do hate that Nyx Assassin. They don't like facing against him at all, for good reason. Functions very well in the tri-lane, and recently has been used a lot more in the off-lane, especially in a 1v1 situation, with that 2+ increase to his base health regen. With a poor man shield, he's very hard to shog out of the lane. They've banned out that Outwards Destroyer, fairing it for the middle lane. They know that the tri-lane, they've already picked up one of their key support heroes. They've picked up that Clockwork for the off-lane, so now they're looking to to lock down the mid lane. Also can be a bit of a hint towards their draft for their mid laner. If they're banning out the OD, they could be looking to run a hero that OD traditionally counters, such as perhaps the Shadow Fiend, as well as that Queen of Pain or that Puck. Traditional intelligence heroes that usually run in the middle lane. Looks like Blink Dota's dipping into their reserve time for their 4th ban. They already have banned out a lot of mids, and a lot of the offlane's been banned out. They know that the Weaver can offlane, but most likely will not be, as Weaver is very fragile in the offlane, can be countered very hard with a few sentries and a few dust placements. So most likely they're looking to try to secure their offlane hero right now, while they still can. Sorry, not their offlane hero, their mid hero. They ban out the Templar Assassin. Excellent ban for the Dire side, especially the Radiant side, sorry, especially with that Weaver, the negative armor coming out from Neld, and the high and the physical burst damage does it very well. They've gone for that Mirana. She can function very well in all 3 lanes, an extremely versatile hero. We can see players such as UGTFO from yesterday's cast, who can play him in the offlane very effectively. She could operate in the mid lane. And in the tri-lane, especially with a setup stun such as the Shadow Shaman or the Shackle or the Hex, can work very well. Dazzle pick up over on the Radiant side. Dazzle's been getting a lot more love recently, especially with the changeover to his Poison Touch, as well as the buff to his Shallow Grave cast range. Shallow Grave is an extremely powerful spell, especially in a tri-v-tri situation, as it can help turn around ganks that escalate under control. With 1 point in it, you can save your teammate for up to 5 seconds. That Weave also functions extremely well. With the Weaver, the more negative armor the enemy team has, the more damage Weaver does. You can run around the backline, sniping off the supports with their low armor, and generally wreaking havoc. Aside from the Mirana, the heroes on the Dire side have very low armor. Clockwork has high base armor but has very low agility gain, so his armor will remain more or less static until he picks up that barbed armor or perhaps a mechanism. Looks like they're going to the 4th pick for Blink Dota, dipping more once again to their reserve time. So far, it looks like they have their offlane secured and potentially their mid, although most likely tri-lane, so they can opt to pick up a mid hero, which they're doing with that Ember Spirit. Ember Spirit hero has been seeing a lot of coverage in the competitive scene, mainly due to the fact that a lot of teams really don't know how to deal with them. The high mobility that comes out from that Fire Remnant, as well as the Slater Fist into Searing Chain combination, is extremely hard to deal with. They picked up the Queen of Pain. Excellent 1v1 mid laner, can control the Ember Spirit fairly well. Ember Spirit does have the Flame Guard to mitigate a lot of her magical damage, however, with her high right click power and Ember Spirit's low based armor, coupled with her Q, Queen of Pain is one of the best mid lane heroes, especially for controlling a melee hero, as well as that excellent animation. In conjunction with the Crystal Maiden, the excess amount of mana regen coming out from that Arcane Aura means that she can be a bit more liberal spamming out her E using its control lane. However, Ember Spirit does have a lot of advantages. Searing Chain stops Blink, and the Slater Fist does a lot of damage. He can either opt for 3 points in Searing Chain, maxing out that Flame Guard, or he could choose to go for completely forego the Flame Guard, max out the Slater Fist as well as the Searing Chain. He could even choose to just opt for 1 point in Searing Chain. This is a build a lot of pro players seem to be doing recently, just relying on maxing out his other 2 abilities. 5th ban over on Slada, extremely clever ban as they recognize the threat that the Weaver Dazzle combination has already. The negative armor coming out from Slada, especially with that buff recently to Blink Dagger, reducing the mana cost, as well as the fact that Slada's Sprint no longer costs mana, means that the only thing he's using his mana pool for is amplified damage at 25 mana and the Slithereen Crush, which is one of the best scaling stuns in the game, as it has an 8-second cooldown, 2.5 second duration stun, and deals 200 physical damage, which synergizes really well with the negative armor coming out from the Radiant side. 5th ban, the Bane Elemental. Great ban, as Bane Elemental and Priestess of the Moon is a classic combination. Sleep into Arrow also means that it removes the lockdown power that coming out from the Bane, especially with that Fiend's Grip, which you could use to lock down the Weaver. Looks like they're choosing to pick up that Skywrath Mage. Very interesting pickup, as it means that the tri-lane for Blink Dota will either consist of the Ancient Apparition, Mirana, or the Skywrath Mage, or perhaps they could choose to send the Mirana mid and have the Ancient Apparition, Ember Spirit, and Skywrath. However, it means that they have a high amount of magical damage, but they are currently lacking any form of lockdown. That Cold Feet is very unreliable. Skywrath Mage's Concussive Shot, Ember Spirit and the Mirana both have a pseudo lockdown in form of the Arrow and the Searing Chain, however it is unreliable. It looks like the final pickup is that Lifestealer, very good counterpick to the Ember Spirit, as a lot of Ember Spirit's magical damage in the early game comes out in the form of magical damage from his Fire Guard, from his Searing Chain, as well as from his Fire Remnant. Lifestealer can go toe-to-toe, and with Ember Spirit's low base armor, Lifestealer can easily rage, open wound into the lockdown's mobility, and simply start beating on him. So in terms of hero picks up, we've got Yoshi playing the Ancient Apparition, DDY as the Skywrath Mage, Flash over on the Mirana, Blink Z on the Clockwork, and Snow over on the mid lane Ember Spirit. So it looks like a mid lane Ember Spirit. Over on the Radiant side, we've got Insano, forgive me if I'm mispronouncing this, over on the Queen of Pain, Milsey over on the Lifestealer, Swiggy Yolonaise over on the Dazzle, Slithereen, MOPLO, their captain, over the Crystal Maiden, and Maddie G. Bell on the Weaver. Looks like Weaver will be going on the off lane, has picked up that Sentry Ward, has picked up that Tango. Looks like Dazzle's going with him as well, so we could be seeing a 2-1-2. Not as common these days, although with the recent changes to EXP as well as the decline of defensive tri-lanes has been picked up a bit more. Looks like we will be seeing the Mirana tri-lane with Skywrath Mage as well as the Ancient Apparition. I'm not too sure how I feel about this. Ancient Apparition has picked up that early point over the Chilling Touch. Gives him a high amount of magical damage, especially with 3 ranged heroes with a high range. It means they hurt a lot in terms of right-click power. They could do a lot of damage, but they're lacking in that lockdown, so it looks like they're just going to be looking to brute force their way down, relying on that high amount of damage coming up from those right-clicks, coming up from their spells to simply kill them before they can react, as well as that high chasing power that comes up with the Mirana with that leap, with that concussive shot, as well as even the point over in the Ice Vortex can be used as a snare. Hanging around the jungle so far, really not too sure what they're thinking of doing. Looks like the Radiant side is choosing to completely ignore the tri-lane. They're choosing to dodge it, sending the Lifestealer over to the top lane. Lifestealer has chosen not to pick up a Stealth Shield, which is a bit interesting. Lifestealer has very low base armor. While he does have high survivability, like that Doombringer with low armor, you usually want to pick up a Stealth Shield to mitigate a lot of the harassments coming out. Double damage spawns over on the bottom lane. Looks like Ember Apparition is going to pick that up. And over into the middle lane. Good block there by by Snow, controlling the creep wave, making sure that's over on his high ground, makes it a lot more difficult for the Queen of Pain to harass him. Looks like he's gone for that first point over in the Flame Guard, doesn't want to deal with that Q, so he's hanging around. However, the drawback with that level 1 Flame Guard is it only mitigates 50 points worth of magical damage, and it has a very low duration, so it has quickly already worn off. Queen of Pain simply can choose to use that Q on him right now, taking a little bit of creep harassment so far in last hits. Snow off to a great start with 4 for 0, expertly controlling the lane. And staying on now at tower range, creep equilibrium is in Snow's favor as the creep wave is tanking hits from the tower. This means that the next wave will push out further towards Snow. Gives him a lot more control, however, it makes it a lot easier for Snow to also control the runes. Bit surprising considering the fact that it's an Ember Spirit. One of the underrated synergies with the Ember Spirit, he looks like he's gone for that Searing Chain at level 1, coupled with that Flame Guard, really gets a lot of harassment coming up from the Q, and Queen of Pain takes a lot of harassment damage, was not expecting the high amount of damage coming out from that Ember Spirit. With that, a few points up in that Slate of Fist, he can contest the Queen of Pain for runes. He can throw out that Slate, throw out that Searing Chain, and go for a kill. Guarantees the Searing Chain proc over in the Queen of Pain, as it does have a very high AoE. Most likely we will be seeing the first blood attempt over in the middle lane. Over on the off lane, we've got Clockwork off to a pretty decent start. The creep wave is a little bit further out than you'd like it to be, but with that cog, he should be safe. Looks like it is transitioning into a 2-1-2, with the Dazzle babysitting the Lifestealer. Should be fine over in this lane. Will be very difficult for them to go for a kill attempt. Looks like Swiggy Yolonaise is taking a little bit too much damage. Gone for that first point over in the Poison Touch, looking to go for an offensive kind of lane. Over in the bottom lane, we've got Weaver and the Crystal Maiden. Not too sure what they're going to be able to do here, as Weaver on his own will easily get harassed out of the lane, especially with the amount of damage coming up from that Chilling Touch. We see he's already at half HP, forced to munch on the Tango given over by the Crystal Maiden. Crystal Maiden's picked up that first point in Frostbite. While it is good for immobilizing him in place, does not prevent the usage of spells, and against the spell-heavy tri-lane, not too sure how effective she'll be. She's hanging around the back line, making sure that if they do dive, the Weaver will play a bit too aggressive, she can hang around. Ember Spirit picks up a haster, and looks like Snow is going to go into the top lane. He's thinking about it, decides not. Lane might be pushed out. No, it looks like he's going for it anyway. He's got 1 point up in Searing Chain, 1 point up in the Slate of Fist, and 1 into the Flame Guard. We'll see what skill he chooses to max out first. It could be going either for the Flame Guard max or for the Slate of Fist max. With the Queen of Pain pickup over in the middle lane, most likely could be the Flame Guard. And wow, looks like DDY has picked up first kill over in the Crystal Maiden. High amount of magical damage. Looks like concussive shot, followed by the Ancient Seal with that Chilling Touch damage. And the Cold Feet could have perhaps been an arrow as well with the leap. No way Crystal Maiden's going to escape. They really should sack this tri-lane, leave the Weaver to his own devices. He should be able to sap a bit of EXP. Over in the top lane, looks like Clockwork actually does go down. Looks like he screwed up a bit with the cogs there. Trapped the Lifestealer in with him instead of pushing him out. Bit like that line from Rorschach in Watchmen. I'm not stuck in there with you, you're stuck in there with me. Looks like Ember Spirit is choosing to max out that Fire Guard. 2 points up in it now. With that bottle, most likely will be opting to pick up early phase boots. Could perhaps go into the drum, gives him everything he really needs. Then opt for something like the Desolator. Have seen a few Chinese teams go for that Maelstrom, utilizing on the high amount of procs it gets from that Slate of Fist. But traditionally in the Western scene we have seen the Desolator pick up, as it gives him a bit more burst damage, a bit more control, enables him to scale a little bit better. Maelstrom can be seen as the farming alternative to the Battle Fury. Battle Fury isn't really picked up on the mid lane Ember Spirit, as it does limit a lot of his effectiveness. Hang on a second. Chestnut.
if that helps at all.
Over in top lane, Clockwork forced to drop his cogs out again. He's feeling a bit safer now. He's actually gone for 2 points in power cogs. Not really too sure what the rationale for that is. I guess he's assuming that with that rage, he won't be able to kill that lifesteal with the battery assault, only really using it for that disable. Want those points in the cog so he can use it to harass the lifesteal out of lane, drain his mana, make sure he doesn't have that open wound, control it, and if they do decide to go in and give him that extra second to survive. Bit unconventional. We'll see if he chooses to opt for to continue the max along this or only go for that secondary point. And then Snow's controlling the runes very well. 3 points up over in that Flame Guard, has picked up the invisibility rune. In terms of golden EXP difference, 250 over inside of Blink Dota. This is purely due to efficiency as they are both 1 for 1. And about 1,000 gold over in Snow. Snow goes in for a good gank, gets that Searing Chain off. With that Flame Guard's able to do a lot of harassment, tanks a hit from the tower. Queen of Pain getting bullied at the lane by the Ember Spirit. Bit surprising to see. Usually Queen of Pain is extremely dominant against a melee hero, but with that Flame Guard, a lot of her damage is mitigated. She's forced simply to right-clicking him, and by screwing up the creep equilibrium in the early game and giving Snow the early advantage, unable to do so, she can't stand toe-to-toe against Snow with a high amount of DPS coming out from the Searing Chain, as well as the Flame Guard. Flame Guard right now is currently doing 50 damage per second, so it's like a pseudo-radiance. Snow hanging around, just leeching some EXP. Once he hits that level 6, might look to go for a dive. Can follow that Queen of Pain with only 1 point up in that blink. Choosing to go 2 points over into the queue, gets caught by the Searing Chain, blinks out. Snow can choose to go on this, he doesn't have enough mana, decides wisely to back away. Tanks a bit too much damage from the tower. With that low base armor, Ember Spirit does take a lot of physical DPS. Over in the bottom lane, looks like Crystal Man is about to go down. Concussive shot followed by point blank arrow with a chilling touch and the Ancient Seal. Bit too much damage for her to handle. Not too sure why she's still hanging around the bottom lane. There is really nothing she can do there. Weaver should be fine on his own. He could use that Sakuchi to move himself out of the way. They don't have enough CC and lockdown, apart from the Ancient Seal, but Weaver should be able to Sakuchi himself outside of the Skywrath Rage. Blink-Z taking a lot of harassment, is choosing to max out that cog. I'm really not too sure about this skill builder. I don't think I've actually seen this before. Usually, Clockwork players tend to either max out the Flare or the Battery Assault. Usually the Battery Assault, as it gives them a high amount of killing power. The disadvantage with this build is he has very low solo kill power with low points up in the Flare as well as low points up in the Battery Assault. There isn't all too much he can do. Clockwork's biggest advantage is the fact that once he hits level 6, or if he happens to catch a support hero out in the zone over in the jungle, he can Battery Assault them down. However, without that, with only 1 point in the Battery Assault, looks like he's going for that more of that team fighting build. Going to use that cog to control and disrupt team fights. Playing a bit too careful there. In some cases, you do see 2 points up in the cog, then choosing to go back out into the Battery Assault, but we'll see if this build affects his first few ganks and his mid-game presence. Poison Touch thrown out in the Clockwork. Dazzle taking a bit of damage from the creeps, but he should be fine. Throws out the Flare for a bit of CS. Over in terms of last hits, we've got Flash leading the way with 33 for 23 denies, 24 denies. This is fantastic, the amount of denies. Really controls the amount of EXP the Weaver is getting, and this is starting to notice. Weaver is level 4, the exact same level as a Trilane Marana. Those kills really are going out in their favor. Choosing to max out that Starstorm already has picked up the Phase Boots. Phase Boots is the preferred boot pickup, in my opinion, for the Marana, as it gives her a lot of base damage. Gives her a lot more chasing power, especially with that leap. And she usually doesn't have to rely on just simply standing there right-clicking them. She wants to keep chasing them. The high amount of magic damage is coming out from a burst combination. Queen of Pain throws out the ult. Snow is overcommitted and looks like he's going to go down. Good play there from the Queen of Pain.
Did you forget your
Looks like Snow underestimated the amount of magic damage coming out from the Queen of Pain, especially with that ult. The Flame Guard can only mitigate 350 at this moment, so with one Scream as well as one ult, looks like it burns right through that, and the right clicks coming out from the Queen of Pain with a higher base armor means that she can deal a bit more damage, take out the Ember Spirit before she herself goes down. Good play there from the mid lane. Over in terms of EXP, looks like it's starting to even out now, especially with that. Oh, we've got to disconnect. For a quick pause, only 1,000 gold lead for Blink's Dota at the moment, purely due to efficiency, as you can notice. In terms of last hits, they've got 40 over on the Marana with 28 denies, and 34 for 10 over on the Ember Spirit. He has 12 more last hits and 7 more denies on the Queen of Pain. This is a crippling advantage. Really helps control the Queen of Pain's impact. She's only level 8 right now. Ember Spirit, well, with that kill actually hits level 8. Ember Spirit was 7.5 before. One of the things you notice, especially with high league players such as Dendi, is that one of the reasons why they're so effective in the mid lane is the fact that they get a huge amount of denies, really controls the amount of EXP the enemy mid player gets. It means that they're able to hit those critical threshold levels such as at level 6 and level 7 and start operating around the map, getting a few more kills off before they can come online. Skywrath Mage looks like he's going for the conventional build. 1 point up in that Arcane Bolt, 1 over in the Concussive Shot, and 2 over in the Seal. Ancient Seal is an extremely powerful spell, especially against heroes such as that Queen of Pain. Provides that damage amplification with, and in conjunction with that Chilling Touch, hurts a hell of a lot. Also means that it could shut down the escape mechanisms of the Queen of Pain. She can't blink out, she can't really do anything. Crystal Maiden gonna poke her head out, could break the smoke, and looks like if she does get spotted, she will go down. Double damage Ancient Apparition with Chilling Touch, not a thing you want to deal with. Searing Chain misses over on Snow. 400 AoE range on that Searing Chain, and it will hit any random 2 targets, so if you're near the creep wave, most likely, unless you happen to catch them outside the creep wave, will go on them. Looks like DDY is hanging around. If he gets that Ancient Seal off, will be going down. Ancient Seal goes down, Slither Fist into the Searing Chain, and Queen of Pain goes down. There's no way she's getting out of that one. Excellent combination coming out from Team Blink. Good rotation, really utilizing the fact that even though they don't have any form of hard CC in the form of stun, they're going to utilize the silence, they're going to utilize the immobilize coming up from the Searing Chain. We've got 3 points up in the Searing Chain. Flash gets an arrow over on the Weaver, and looks like Weaver might actually go down. No, he just barely survives. Last minute Sakuchi from him. Excellent play there by the Mirana. If he got that double Star Storm off, he would have gone down. However, with that Frostbite coming out from the Crystal Maiden, very difficult to do so. Ember Spirit has opted to go for Arcane Boots. This I really enjoy because one of the biggest drawbacks to the Ember Spirit is the fact that he has a very low mana pool. Every proc of his ult costs 150 mana. Going with the Arcane Boots means you could throw one Remnant in, zip into a fight, catch someone in a position, throw another Remnant out, use it to disjoint, jump yourself back out when you're at half HP, when the enemy team turns around to re-engage in you, and then once the low HP, or once they've thrown out a few of their disables, you can jump back in again. Means you can zip, like that Storm Spirit, you can zip in, zip out, and then zip back again to finish off any stragglers. Grows a high amount of killing power. Does mean a bit less damage in killing power from the Slither Fist. Miss on the cogs there, but looks like Lifestealer's going down with the sheer amount of power coming out from that Ancient Seal and that Chilling Touch. Ancient Apparition and Skywrath Mage doing a lot of work. Already we see an Arcane Boots picked up on Yoshi's, maxing out that Chilling Touch. If he gets a very early level 6, which it looks like he might be, he'll be able to start dominating the map, especially with that Execution spell from the Ice Blast. You can throw it out to any lane. With the fact that they have 2 very long-range initiators with the Ember Spirit, with its Fire Remnant, as well as the Searing Chain combination, as well as that Clockwork with that Hook Shot, Ancient Apparition can help execute heroes from halfway across the map. Could be one of the reasons why Clockwork has chosen to max out that cog. The extra seconds of the cog gives Ancient Apparition a bit more time to land his ult. However, usually 5 seconds at level 1 is more than enough to land it. But we'll see how it factors into it. One of the advantages of maxing out that cog is in those early team fights, cog does a lot of damage, 160 mana and HP drained. 160 mana drained on heroes such as Lifestealer completely shuts down his mana pool, means he can't get that open wounds off, means he can't do that Infest combination with the Rage, means he's forced to choose between one or the other. 9 out of 10 times, Lifestealer will be forced to pop that Rage so he doesn't get bursted down. Really cripples his ability to kill the sports over on the Dire side, as they can simply just kite him and run the hell away. Over in terms of last hits, Mirana in a dominating lead at 57 for 33. Lifestealer has picked up that Hand of Midas, and with that Phase Boots, he is off to a very good start. We'll see if he chooses to go for the drums now, or if he even opts to go for the Armlet. We know Armlet hasn't been picked up all too much. I think Load is the only player that still likes to go Armlet. Could be a kill attempt happening on the bottom lane. Crystal Maiden caught out of lane, gets hit by the cog. Arrow misses, but she's going down. Slow speed in the Crystal Maiden, she really hasn't accomplished all too much on this lane. Weaver can simply just Sakuchi on out. Looks like she's choosing to max out that Arcane Aura. Recognizes that she's not going to get a lot of work done. Oh, looks like a mid lane gank. Searing Chain, followed by the Flame Gun Slither Fist. Snow uses the Slither Fist to dodge one hit and goes down. However, takes down the Queen of Pain with it. Looks like he mistimed that Fire Remnant there. Could have destroyed the tower hit, but regardless, he gets the kill before he goes down, so he's able to get that EXP. Over in the bottom lane, we see a gank attempt happening. Cog traps in the Weaver. Forced to use that time lapse early, gets called out by the Ancient Seal, hit out by the cogs. Cold Feet goes down, is being hit down. He does have Shallow Grave. Looks like the Queen of Pain is referencing the fact that he has a full wand. It's one of the things I always like to tease my flatmates about whenever they're playing Dota. I always scream out, use your goddamn wand, it's 225 heal. Especially in clutch situations such as that. She could have lived, but nonetheless, looks like the Dazzle goes down, uses the Shallow Grave on the Weaver, so Weaver is able to survive, but sacrifices a life for it. Yoshi gets another kill over on the Weaver with that Ancient Apparition Ice Blast, that Execution spell. Weaver did not account for the fact that Ancient Apparition can JFK from halfway across the map. Good kill from Yoshi. Over on Blink side, we've got 3 to 8 lead, so looks like Blink Dota in a bit of a commanding lead. They can take that first bottom tower right now with 4 of the heroes on the bottom lane. In terms of EXP, 4,000 EXP lead over onto Team Blink. And in terms of gold, about 3,000. The EXP is a bit more important right now. Mirana throws out a fishing arrow into the trees to scout out, as Arrow has flying vision. Good way to scout out if someone is hiding behind the trees, such as that Crystal Maiden. Crystal Maiden with only Boots and Embracer is having a pretty sad game. Queen of Pain throws out the illusion, uses it to scout out, hoping perhaps to bait out a few abilities. Crystal Maiden's called out of position, gets hit by the Skywrath ult, and goes down to the Mirana. Mirana leaps in for that last hit.
both the hook and as well as the arrow both miss, but the Ancient Apparition ult's flying out. It's going to kill the Queen of Pain. So we're getting Yolanae's called out in the cogs. That 7-second cog duration is really starting to pay off. Miranda actually denies the Skywrath Mage. I think he was going down perhaps to the poison tick damage from the poison touch. Nonetheless, ensures that nothing goes, that they don't feed a kill open to their end. Ember Spirit actually choosing out to max out Searing Chains. This is very interesting. Usually you want to go for 3 points in Searing Chains ASAP, as it increases the duration from 2 seconds to 3 seconds. Also effectively doubles the DPS from 120 at level 1 to 240 at level 3. One of the main abilities you want to max out. The 4th point is usually pretty optional, as it only increases the damage by 60 seconds and decreases the cooldown by 2 seconds. I guess in the sense that he has the Arcane Boots, he's going to rely more so on a lockdown position, relying on the fact that he has the Flame Guard, the Fire Remnant, and with the Arcane Boots constantly spam it out, so he's going to try to lock down as many heroes for as long as possible, instead of relying on that damage physical DPS coming out from the Slate of Fist. Queen of Pain gets a great kill over on the Clockwork. Looks like she was forced to pop her ult and goes down to the Skywrath and Ancient Apparition ult. Very brutal, nasty combination coming out from those two. Two support heroes with an extremely high amount of magical DPS can, if they catch the Queen of Pain out of position, especially without that blink, as it looks like she was forced to pop, she can go down. Looks like Blink is saying, we don't need any stuns, we're just going to kill you before you can do anything. That BK, once that Queen of Pain picks up a BKB, they'll be changing their tune, but right now she's been kept down very well. Only has 1 bottle as well as the Null Talisman. Quick item check over on the Radiant side. Looks like Weaver's just picked up his Ring of Keela as well as Treads. Forced to go that Treads for that early survivability. Dazzle's hanging around invisibility, but gets called out by the Sentry Ward, gets hit by Searing Chains as well as the Ancient Seal. He goes down, nothing he can do there. Bit unfortunate. Good Sentry Ward placement, looks like they're looking to de-ward the defensive ward placed over the Radiant side, instead catch a free kill over on the Dazzle. Dazzle looks like he will be going for that mechanism, he's already picked up that Ring of Regen. Queen of Pain just picks up Treads. Lifestealer has picked up Phase, as well as it looks like he's going for that drum, he'll have it in a little bit. Crystal Maiden in there, very poor, just the boots and the bracer, no tranquil boots for her, no one, nothing like that. Ember Spirit's picked up Arcane Boots, as well as the drum. We'll see if he chooses to opt for a DPS item. Miranda ult goes down. Crystal Maiden once again called out of position, called out by the cogs, as well as that Clockwork hook. Ember Spirit goes down to the sheer amount of DPS coming out from the Battery Assault, as well as that Flame Guard. Not an awful lot they could do in that situation. Bit interesting that Snow is choosing to max out the Fire Remnant. A lot of players tend to only go for 1 point in it as they use it for the maneuverability. The Slate of Fist on cooldown, he's unable to go in, however he does catch out that Queen of Pain with the arrow on cooldown and with the Shallow Grave. Looks like she will be getting out. He could choose to go for that Desolator, or perhaps he might even go for that Maelstrom. We'll see what he does. He's just picked up an item, we'll see what he goes. He could even opt for that early crit. Yeah, it looks like he will most likely be going for that Desolator. He could, however, be going for that Maelstrom, as Mr. Hammer built into both. But from the look of it, they already have a high amount of magical DPS coming out. They want to get that physical DPS to control that Lifestealer, and Lifestealer with very low armor, especially with the fact that he's no longer going for that armlet. Only 5 base armor at the moment. Desolator would completely tear through him. He's just picked up his drums. We'll see what item he chooses to go for next. Could be that S and Y, that Vroom Vroom race car build with that phase, with that drum. The high amount of mobility coming out, as he has chosen to max out that open wound. He can go for that armlet. It still is a cost-effective item, gives him a lot of stats, a lot of damage, and most importantly, gives him that armor that he'll need to survive. But we'll see what he does from there. Ancient Apparitions, been sitting on those Arcane Boots. It's got 1,700 gold. We could be seeing an Aghanim Rush on the Ancient Apparition. That's a very powerful combination. 17 seconds where you're unable to heal any HP. Pretty much is a deciding factor in fights, especially if you could get it off on key heroes such as that Lifestealer, such as that Queen of Pain. You could kill them before they could do anything. If you could pick out their mech carrier such as that Dazzle, you could really blow him up before he does anything as well. Unsure he'll be building that mechanism over on Blink Dota's side. Looks like that Clockwork's going for it with that Ring of Protection pickup. Frees up his supports to go for those 4-staffs, going for those Blink Daggers. As Skywrath Mage, 4-staff is an excellent pickup on him, gives him that mobility, especially he's a very squishy hero who relies on his high movement speed and the high area of influence from his spells to be able to throw his spells out from a safe distance and back the hell away. That 4-staff really goes a long way in mitigating that fact, especially if he gets called out by that Frostbite or that Frost Nova or even the open wounds, can use it to cut him around. Biggest drawbacks to the Lifestealer is the fact that with a few 4-staff picks up on the support player side, they can't really kite him around. If he's unable to hit you, he's not doing any damage. And being kited is the Lifestealer's worst fear, as if he has to chase you further and further against the heavy ranged lineup of Blink Dota with that Mirana, with the Ancient Apparition, and with the Skywrath Mage, they can do a lot of damage before he can turn around, heal up with the Feast, as well as the fact that the Ember Spirit can control him very well with a few more points in the Slate of Fist. Looks like they're resuming the game. Just gonna do a quick EXP check. Over 7,500. Has stabilized now, but that 7,500 EXP lead in favor of the Dire side is very depressing. Ancient Apparition all thrown out, not needed. Double kill for Blink. Looks like Queen of Pain might get called out. Slither Fist. Waiting for the Searing Chain to go off. Cooldown's gonna throw out the Slither Fist into Searing Chain combination. Just throws out the Searing Chain. Doesn't have enough mana to do both. Takes a lot of damage from those creeps. It looks like he's gonna go down to the creeps. Could be a disconnect. Not too sure what Snow is doing. I think he had a bit of lag. Might have temporarily disconnected, but he feeds a kill nonetheless to the Queen of Pain. 701 gold going into her favor. Not too sure what was happening there. I'm assuming it was lag. No sane reason why he hanged around. Maybe he underestimated how low armor he had. Clockwork really has turned things around. He was a bit skeptical of the fact that he went for those early points up in the cog, but with the levels he's picked up from those key early rotations, he has maxed out that battery assault, is using it to bully out heroes, to catch out, especially the squishy's Crystal Maiden. She's turned out to be a huge liability to the Radiant side. Hasn't really accomplished the whole much, hasn't roamed, hasn't jungled, hasn't really helped secure Weaver any kills, has simply been called out of position due to her low mobility, called out by the snares, the silences, and just burst down by the sheer amount of magical DPS coming out from the Dire side. Looks like we've got a gank incoming over to the Weaver. He spots them out, gets called out by the Ancient Seal, and he goes down. Very brutal, very nasty gank. Good play from Blink. Really utilizing their heroes to the fullest extent of their abilities, recognizing the fact that since they don't have enough hard CC, they're just going to rely on pure damage. Lifestealer duking out with the Ember Spirit. However, Lifestealer pops Rage, is able to walk on out. Snow hanging around with that Miranda invisibility. Screws up the Searing Chain Slither Fist combination. But regardless, is happy with the fact that he can bully the Lifestealer out of lane.
Oh, that's got to hurt.
We see that the Radiant side's playing. Oh, looks like Yoshi does catch him out. Oh, hook misses. Rare miss over from Blink. I think he's whiffed 2 hooks so far. Landed about 3 or 4. So far, his Clockwork play has been pretty on point. Minus that early cog screw up in the top lane. Dire side is grouping up the middle lane. We've got 3 of their heroes so far, with 2 more over in the top lane. It looks like they're just going to go for the tier 1 at the top. Snow can continue to push down the top lane. The Radiant side are clustering around. They know they can't be caught out on their own with a high amount of gank and mobility power coming out from the Dire side. They really need to stick together. This is to their detriment, as it means that Blink Doden, with a superior position right now, can take the towers, can use that to further snowball their lead. Clockwork still hasn't picked up a mechanism. Looks like it might be playing up some of the courier. No, he's actually opting for a 4-star. He's going for the boulder build. No mechanism over on Blink Doda's side. They're saying we don't need HP, we just want more mobility. We know that we have enough damage to kill you before you can kill us. Excellent Searing Fist Slater Chain combination. Weaver gets called out of position. Forced to use the Shallow Grave. Looks like he's going to survive. Goes down to the dot damage from the Flame Guard. Flash taking a lot of damage from the Lifestealer, but Lifestealer unable to chase anyone down. He's been kited. Queen of Pain throws out the ult, kills the Mirana, is silenced, but she should be the backer way out of that. No, look, with the Flame Render and with the Searing Chain, catches out both players on the Radiant side, and Dire take a commanding team fight, 5 for 1. Mirana's more than happy to take that as a loss. She ate the Queen of Pain ult to the face, means the rest of the team didn't have to. Great execution there from Blink Doda, utilizing the high mobility, the high amount of magic damage coming out, especially with that Ancient Apparition Chilling Touch. There is a reason why he's first pick, first ban, especially in the competitive scenes of late. In terms of support heroes, he's currently sitting at about S tier, just with the fact that he provides so much damage to his team and so much utility. He can even choose, if he doesn't max out the Chilling Touch, with that Cold Feet combination with another setup stun, is a 4-second lockdown at very early levels. Looks like he's about to pick up that double damage. Miranda has picked up the Desolator, so we'll see if Snow continues to go for that Desolator as well. Not too sure if you want to have 2 on the same team, as you just need 1 for that negative armor debuff. Desolator is the most cost-efficient DPS item that you can get in the game, just for the fact that it reduces armor as well as providing 60 damage for the low cost. He could offer that Maelstrom. It would be a very effective flash farming item. He can use it, throw out the Slater Fist on the creep waves. Maelstrom procs during Slater Fist, so much like an Omni Slash. And so in team fights you can output a little bit more magic damage, harass out the support players. Miranda's sitting there with a full DPS build, no defensive items whatsoever, has picked up that Midas, been using it from the start, getting off to a very demanding start. Looks like Lifestealer's going for that armor. He has picked up that Helm of Iron Will, recognizing that he does have low armor, and the negative armor coming out from the Dire side with that Desolator pickup is going to prove to be too much. He wants a cost-effective DPS item that will also give him a bit of survivability. On the Lifestealer, armor does all of that, as he's able to mitigate the HP degen with the Feast HP regeneration it gives. Miranda throws out Fishing Arrow, hasn't landed all too many of them, but is able to use it to get valuable reconnaissance and information. Clockwork takes out Dazzle, Good assassination attempt. Unsure. It looks like he called him out in the jungle. Over in the top lane, Weaver's attempting to split push. We have Miranda TPing in. Not too sure if she'll be able to defend against the Weaver. Weaver's chosen to completely disregard the Swarm, chosen to max out that Gemini attack as well as the Sakuchi. Few disadvantages to the strategy is the fact that the Swarm provides the vast majority of your killing power in the early game, as it gives you that vision, as it gives you that constant tick damage, and then most importantly, the negative armor. It makes the Gemini attack do a lot more damage. Even 1 point in the Swarm can help do a lot of damage, and means that you can pick off that backline. Tower is just above the deny threshold. Looks like Dire Team is going to be playing it safe. We have that Nice Bomb coming out. DDY uses that 4-star, but he will be going down to the Queen of Pain. Miranda ult thrown out in vain, bit too slow. TP rotation coming in. Snow has a double damage wound, so it looks like he's out for blood. Millsy is going to get called out. He's with Snow invisible, he doesn't know what's happening right now. Slowed down by the Ice Vortex, pops the drum. Looks like he's going to attempt to run his way out. Snow has that Slay the Fist Searing Chain combination, which he executes right there, and Millsy's going down. There's no way he can survive from that. Sharing a DPS coming out with that double damage rune, as well as the fact that Flame Guard once Rage wears out. Blinksy takes a lot of damage from the Radiant side. Eats the Queen of Pain, eats the Frostbite. Looks like he'll be going down. No, he pops that mech. Eats the Poison Touch, goes down, but not before he kills the Queen of Pain. Great trade. Looks like he's more than happy to go for that. Another kill over from Snow. Looks like the mechanism has been picked on the Ancient Apparition. Miranda bullying down the Crystal Maiden. She's not been having a good game. There's nothing she can do in this situation. She throws out the Frostbite, but Miranda doesn't give a damn. He can throw out that Starstorm, can wait for it to wear off. Throws out another Fishing Arrow. Looks like he is going to hit that. Weaver, and with that leap on cooldown, she could just simply chase him down. Looks like Snow's going to get it with the Fire Remnant. No. And excellent execution there. The Fire Remnant has a large AoE. 250 magic damage coming out from it is more than enough to kill off that low HP Weaver. Great kill coming out from that Miranda. I've been ragging on her a bit for the fact that she hasn't been landing all too many of her arrows, but there you go, she turns it around, lands a brilliant arrow. Has been using her arrow predominantly for reconnaissance, which is an excellent usage for that arrow, as they do have enough physical DPS coming out. They don't really necessarily need that lockdown. The fact that they could get flying vision, scout out hero movements, scout out fog of war, check truth parks, and force the enemy hero to walk in favor of the other heroes. Throws out another Fishing Arrow, spots out the Queen of Pain over on the side. Crystal Maiden, bit of misplay over by Snow, however, he's able to use that Fire Remnant to zip on out of there. I think he wanted to go for that Slay the Fist Searing Chain combination over onto the Crystal Maiden, but presses W before he presses, presses Q before he presses W. No worries, he's able to zip on out. Ancient Apparition is going for that 4-staff as well. That's 2 4-staffs over on the Dire's side. Potentially, or they already have, so it looks like it'll be 3 once that Ancient Apparition picks that up. Really, Link really showing how to counteract that Lifestealer, recognizing that if he's unable to hit someone, he's essentially a glorified melee creep. Queen of Pain taking a lot of damage, unsure why she's not blinking out, chooses to blink out a bit too slow, and it's going to die to that Miranda right click. Millsy dropped out in the middle of 4. He's getting kited around that excellent cog placement, pushes him back. Really showcasing the power of those cogs. Bodyguards Yoshi, and looks like Queen of Pain's calling for the GG. So at 24 minutes and 32 seconds, Blink take a commanding victory, just a final EXP gold check, 20,000 lead for EXP, and looks like 20,000 gold lead. I'm 49, your community shoutcaster for the Yo-Yo Say League Season 1, and we're just going to go on a quick break, waiting for Game 2 to start.